This year is dedicated to Nishmas Rachalei Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi. I wanted to spend a little bit of time discussing the mitzvah of Sefirat Haomer. We are embarking, the Pesach season is upon us, and there's a lot of time to talk about the mitzvah of Leila Seder and so forth, but sometimes Sefirat Haomer gets lost in the mix, and I wanted to share with you some fundamental halachic and perhaps hashkafic ideas when it comes to the mitzvah of Sefira. The Gemara in Maseches Menachos and Daf Samach Vav Amud Aleph tells us, Gufa Amar Abaye, mitzvah lemimnei yomei u'mitzvah lemimnei shvuye. Abaye says there's a mitzvah to count days, and there's a mitzvah to count weeks. And Rabbanan, the Bei Rav Ashi, Mana Yomei Mana Shvuye. In fact, the Rabbanan in the house of Ashi, in the Beis HaMedrash of Ashi, used to count days and weeks. And then the Gemara cites the view of Ameimar, and Ameimar had a different practice. Ameimar Mana Yomei, Velo Mana Shvuye. Amar Zecher LaMikdashu. Ameimar used to count days, he did not count weeks. Why? Because after all, he said the mitzvah of Sefirat Haomer is only a Zeicher LaMikdash, it's only a mitzvah d'Rabbanan, and as such, as a mitzvah d'Rabbanan, since it's not really Meikar Adin, so therefore it's enough as a Zeicher LaMikdash to go ahead and remember nominally, you just count days and you don't have to count weeks. So clearly embedded in this Gemara is the idea that there is an idea, at least Minat Torah, to indeed count days and weeks, and again it's reflected in the Psukim. In Parshas Emor, Perek Chav Gimel of Sefer Vayikra, Pasuk Tezvav, the Torah tells us, Usfartem lachem imachras haShabbos miyom haviachem es Omer hatznufa. You have to count the day after the first day of Yom Tov of Pesach when you bring the Karban HaOmer, Sheva Shabbosos Tamimos Tiyena. You're supposed to have 7 complete weeks. And then the Torah tells us in the very next Pasuk, Ad mimarchas haShabbos hashvi. You wait the full 7 weeks, you count, Tispru chamishim yom. How much do you count? You count 50 days. And then you bring the Shtei Halechem on Chag HaShavuos. So the Psukim tell us it's a mitzvah to count days. Tispru chamishim yom. There's also a mitzvah to count weeks. Sheva Shabbosos Tamimos Diena. So therefore, ideally, Minat Torah, you'll count both. However, says Ameimar, today, the mitzvah is only Zeicher LaMikdash. It's only a Zeicher, therefore it's sufficient to go ahead and only count days and not count the weeks. What is the assumption? What is clearly underlying Rav Ameimar's position? So Ameimar clearly assumes it's only D'Rabbanan Bizman Hazeh. The mitzvah of Sefira is only D'Rabbanan. Why? Because as the Psukim seem to indicate, there is some connection, a linkage between the Sefirat Haomer, the counting of these days, and the Karban HaOmer. When the day you go ahead and bring the Omer Hatznufa, that's the day you start counting the Sefira. So there seems to be a linkage between the mitzvah of Karban HaOmer and the mitzvah of Sefirat Haomer. It's no coincidence they're both called HaOmer. And as a result, since they have this connection, this linkage, so if you do not have a Karban HaOmer anymore, we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, we don't bring the Karban HaOmer, so therefore the mitzvah of Sefira also gets knocked down to a mitzvah d'Rabbanan, and as a result, you do not have to do the full-fledged mitzvah, you don't have to go ahead and count weeks, only it's sufficient to count the days. This is the view of Ameimar. What does Abai hold? Abai says we should count days and weeks. So logically speaking, Abai could really be understood in one of two ways. Either Abai fundamentally disagrees with Ameimar, and he says, indeed, you count days and weeks. Why? Because even today, without a Karban HaOmer, the mitzvah of Sefira still continues to be a mitzvah d'oraisa. And the fact that the pasuk seems to link the day you start the counting of Sefira is the day you bring the Karban HaOmer, that's just what I would call a coincidental juxtaposition. It's telling us that you do these two things on the same day. But it's not that there's an inherent integral link between the two. Sefirat Haomer has its function. Karban HaOmer